Well, folks, I have been to the Nether so much, and I've been gathering all sorts of interesting things. And one of the conclusions I've had after burning through just so much fuel, and getting, a bunch of gold, and my little cart is doing super well down here, by the way. Let's just run down here where we're talking. But one of my conclusions from all this is that this electrical power source, it's a grand experiment, but it really is not worth the trouble. Even my system, the biggest problem with it is that it gets less efficient over time. So, the more you use it, the less powerful it is. So here you can see, if we go down here, it's hard to see way off in the distance, and there's a skeleton right there. Sup, dude? Die. We're getting stronger, by the way. It's kind of cool. I feel like we are getting more effective at killing the enemies that persist around us. And, oh, redstone. Could use some of this. A little bit of lag there, no problem. But yeah, you can see over here we've gotten a ton of space, gotten a bunch more diamonds, been busy on some secret projects in addition to getting ready for what I think will be... I think I got a message... Whoa. Yeah, I guess I probably shouldn't have done that. I got a message that Paprika Sue, who caused this ridiculous affliction that now so torments me, is in fact going to be visiting soon. So I got a kind of a strange message appeared and then vanished after taking it. But yeah, so I think what we're going to try and do is begin to phase out this electrical project. As wonderful as it is, and now that we have the cart doing a lot of drilling for us, albeit slowly, it's not so bad for us to be using more diamonds. In fact, it's kind of outright fine. But there's another project that I've been working on. We can probably go do this. Well, I mean, it's gross outside. It's light. Ugh. Ooh. Oh wow. There's a Hey. Do you have anything for me? No? Just okay. Fine. That was odd. There's definitely... I've sort of just stopped caring about the darkness and just accepted the fact that I can pretty much kill anything quickly, so I sort of just ignore it now. But we have been working on this project right here, which is to slowly make these sun globes. Now, I think that this is working right, although it's hard to tell. Yeah, see, those aren't working very well. I think that maybe they aren't working right, but I think maybe this is just not set up right, but I'm not sure. I think it should be, but we'll keep experimenting. But I think that if I set this up right with these sun collectors, I'll be able to capture a tiny amount of sunlight and then use that to build up a better immunity. So I'll be testing that in a little bit. So I've been experimenting with a new metal that we found, specifically this draconium ingots. I have 10 of them. It's quite a bit. And we'll sort of let this go. And I think I have an interesting use for it. It seems like, with a little bit of care, I'll be able to actually use it and channel its power via a novel power system. And so one of the things that we're going to be doing is taking advantage of some of the interesting latent technologies that we haven't really started using yet. We'll be automating some of this and definitely getting this, but check this out. So I have been killing a lot of undead and finding many spirits. And I have made a Spectre Key. And by holding this down, I can actually go off into my own spiritual dimension. Right? So this is mine. There are others here that I presume belong to other people who have mastered this dimension. But this is a place, it is always light here, and yet I am not troubled by the daylight. So this is actually fantastic from my perspective. This is a place where I can come and safely work with things that would otherwise be, too difficult to work with. And you can see my clock sort of goes ridiculously wonky here, but it should be fine, I think. So yeah, we'll be good on that front. So I think we're going to start moving our farms here because it's always light, and so it's going to be a lot easier to work with things and not have to worry about tiny indoor spaces. It's really quite a large space to work with. And then when we want to leave, we end up right back where we started. Before, though, we go doing other things, right? But I think that maybe my sun grenades will charge. I don't know if the rain gets in the way. Looks like they're charged. Excellent. I just had to remove a little bit of ceiling that was interfering with them. Okay, let's be careful. Excellent. Let's see what this does to us. I'm worried that it's going to hurt quite a bit, given the fact that we basically light on fire whenever there's sun nearby, but it can't be helped. According to our notes and prescriptions and manuscripts, this is what we need to do. So... Oh. Ow. Oh, ooh, oh, it hurts. Ugh. Oh. Ugh. Oh, this is the worst. This is really painful, but it doesn't completely deplete me of blood, so that's not so bad. We just need to be a little bit careful not to, you know, get burnt to death. Ugh. I wonder how many times I have to do that. Quite a few, I think. Let's go ahead and do another one. Oh. Mm. Ugh. It just... but it doesn't... It takes a long time for it to finish. Ugh. Okay, that's really supremely unpleasant. I can barely see. What the... And it seems to me like one of the things that's given us the most trouble is a repeating crossbow design. So I think... One more shot. So let's just go ahead and cock and fire. Yeah, great. And can I pull this back? I can. Excellent. So we actually get most of our arrows back, and we're really just depleting string. That's really good news, actually. And, yep, there we go. So now we have a better ranged weapon. And this weapon, hopefully, will do us right going forward. But I've been thinking about maybe trying to leverage my strength as well. Now, I mean, just taking a sword or something like that's kind of straightforward. But I have... Well, you know, I've been interested in something that I had found. Let me see if I can pull together the materials necessary. Oh dear, that's quite the storm outside. Well, okay, so here we go. Here's what I think we can do. If we go like this, right, we can make some wool. Let's just make, let's make 4 for now. This is not a very efficient use of string, but it's not like, for example, like we're really farmhands. Now, something I've been experimenting with is the power inherent and latent in my blood, because there's obviously something there to it. And there we go. You can see that I actually can stain this wool. Now, I'm not really sure what to make of this, right? It is an interesting thing, but it does seem to me that there's definitely possibility here. You can see I've actually used a fair amount of my blood, so I'm going to have to go out feeding soon. But in the process, I think I've created something that might... I'm gonna try making it react to fire. Like so? Yes, as I suspected, it does in fact react very well to fire. So this fabric, this burnt wool, seems to me to be incredibly powerful. It seems to weave itself almost. It's quite surprising, the reactions. The blood curdles the cloth in a very strange way. I didn't realize the cloth could curdle, but I assure you that it can, because that's what's happening here. Now, this stuff has a lot of potential uses, not the least of which is that, well, it seems to have, you know, some interesting clothing properties that only we could make, right? But it also, I think that maybe if we were to use it properly, we could actually make a cane out of it. So I need to make a little bit more of this stuff. And specifically, we're going to try putting together a couple of the diamonds we found and see if we can make this cane sword. And wow, it is really, really noisy outside. This is one heck of a storm. But I have to say, you know, there's something that's still my favorite, even in our condition, is just standing here, just watching the rain come down. For one, I like the rain because it means I can go outdoors in the sun. Oh. But also, I just enjoy standing here, watching the rain fall, just out of view. Just taking my hand and putting it out there. Oh. Getting hit in the back by a spider. Beating up the redstone I was using to monitor this. Yeah, it's really relaxing. Thanks, spider. You totally ruined it. Alright, let's see if we can make this sword. There we are. A cane sword. Now... Oh, interesting. I think I've gotten that inspiration on a different type of multi-tool. Okay, well, as you can see, this is a cane sword. So this is a sword hidden in a cane. And I can kind of take it and walk around with it and look very, very dapper, even with an arrow in my back. But when it comes time for the business, I'm ready for the business. Now, interestingly enough, this sword, you know, very sharp, very strong, but also has a little reservoir I've concocted so that when I do deliver a fatal blow to something edible, perhaps a villager or perhaps another human, a little bit of it will be kept aside for me to sup on later. Kind of an emergency supply, if you will. I'm thinking that maybe I'm going to go and feed a little bit more and turn the rest of my, try to fair some of my string into Kuror and maybe find some, maybe find a few, sheep. I'm going to see if I can make a fair sum of this stuff. So that's actually going to be a fairly slow process. I'm going to go out, find some sheep, and then I'm going to also wait for this rainstorm to subside. Jeez, this is ridiculous. But yeah, I'm going to go see if I can take care of that. Now, I don't suppose I could use... do I have to use white wool for this? Or could I use this red wool? Because that would save me a lot of time. Can I go like this? Yeah, no, it has to be white wool. It has to be pure. For some reason, the dyes must inhibit it. Alright, well, that's fine. Alright, folks, well, I've been out feeding all night and doing other stuff and, you know, generally getting things done. I gotta actually reload this. I'm not sure if I'm entirely happy with the performance of that, but let's, I found that I had some more sunlight to dose myself with. I've actually done this several times. I've been using cotton to make string. I've been finding it out in the wild and just kind of, I'm just trying to keep my mind off of how painful this is. This really is quite agony. I have to be careful. I could actually kill myself with this treatment. Still, it's less agonizing than the actual sun. It hurts, but it doesn't set my blood literally aflame. So I have been using cotton, which I've actually been growing in my spectral zone. And also finding out in the wild. It turns out this stuff is actually, it grows quickly, it's quite abundant, this variety, and it definitely provides exactly the sort of thing we're looking for, which is rapid production of string without being, you know, relying on something external. Let's dose ourselves one more time here. My thirst grows stronger. Does that mean... Does that mean that, like the book says, I've gained a greater immunity to the sun? Alright, well, there's no sense not testing it. I'm not... Okay, my blood is draining rapidly, but I don't instantly die. I can stand in the sunlight again. Not for long, but this is it's so much better than before. Well, let's... I must have left the other one in my spectral zone. Well, let's keep charging those. Perhaps we could gain an even greater immunity. This is an amazing day. An amazing day. We're mastering our curse. We're gaining strength. We're making progress on solving our mineral issues. And I think it's time to maybe begin developing some of these. So we do have a little bit more blood to spend on this. Let's go ahead and finish this off, this last batch. And then I'll have to go out feeding again because this is definitely difficult. But to sustain this, I have very little blood left between that and what the sun's effects on me were. But still, that's better than simply lighting on fire and dying. Alright, let's see what we can do with this. Let's see if we could put something together. You can see I've been making cotton seeds. So first, I think perhaps first we'll make a hat for ourselves, perhaps to keep the sun off. Oh, a tall hat. It has set bonuses. Interesting. That's actually really good. We'll have to figure out what our next task is to increase the power and further master the power of our curse. How about we'll next make a lovely dress coat. And then we need a few pants. And we'll need a little bit more. We may not have quite enough to make the whole set. We might have just enough, actually. Just enough, I think. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we'll have just enough. I actually calculated it out correctly. And I guess some shoes. All right, let's go ahead and put this on. Some shoes, some pants. Oh, very nice. I like it quite a bit. Over my waistcoat, a separate waistcoat. And let's just get our cane out as well. Oh my. I've got to confess, the excessively formal isn't necessarily my style, but I kind of like this. And it actually, I can feel it's like this power, this strengthened blood is actually making me stronger. That's kind of remarkable. Well, maybe that's enough worrying about strengthening for now. We can always repair this with just more wool and blood, I think. I think if I put together an anvil, I'll have no problem with that. Gosh. Oh, and I see we have more gas tiers. I wonder what we should work on next. I kind of like having this cane around. I can go top top. You know, whenever I want to make a point, top top, top top. No, that doesn't. You know, just hello. I can jab people with the cane. You know, tell them, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here? You're not welcome here. This is my cane. Talk to the cane. Talk to the sword. Oh, just the cane."